Cause I'm about that. Cause I'm about that. I'm about that come up, running up on them fools that are talking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing the mic just like I ran and jewels in. Y'all gonna get done up front and on that kid with an attitude, but you can't really blame this motherfucker. Do what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish what I started. I'm about that.
Top down all night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down all night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Know that I'm about it. Want it, man, I can bring the drama. But it ain't by chance that I'm fucking rapping. You don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping like homie starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is. Hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. I'm about that.
Top down all night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Down all night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
And welcome into the Ysn Power Hour, a little bit of playoff reaction as the brackets have been unfurled somewhat here in Ohio as everybody having some problems with the OHSA website kind of crashing down. As you can imagine, the amount of people that are heading to the website trying to figure out, number one, where they're playing, who they're playing, what time they're playing, and where they're playing at. So that was not proper English, where they're playing. So when we came on the air, we are still kind of trying to filter through all of the poor navigation of a website crashing. So bear with us. We have the majority of the teams, especially here at YSN, who they're playing, where they're playing, and how things kind of shook out. This has been an absolute crazy show all freaking day, and we had people filtering us information throughout the entire first part of the morning into the afternoon. A lot of hearsay, a lot of rumors, but those rumors have turned out to be absolutely true. So I want to give a tip of the cap to our sources that have utilized what we're trying to do in the early going. Right now, we're going to lean on Paul Munson a lot. He's got all the brackets printed out. But on top of that, guys, we have a little bit of interest because we have how the coaches and how the teams voted, which I think is probably a little bit more interesting than how things shook out. So we're going to give you kind of where your teams are playing and how the coaches voted to get them there. So before we do that, do want to let you know it is what's the national day today? What did I say it was? I never even got it. National Hair Day. So national, yeah, there's a few of us that don't really celebrate that very well on this panel, but being that it is National Hair Day, wanted to point down to our awesome sponsor, and EB sitting right beside his favorite place to go get trimmed up. It is Clientele, the official barbershop of your sports network. So on National Hair Day, go hit them up. Let Matt know you're coming. He'll get you faded up. I'm sure it's a celebration in the dojo as well over at Clientele. They'll make sure that you're all taken care of. So happy National Hair Day to everybody. The best hair on this entire place has got to be Romo. Romo's got the sweetest hair there is. I think someone told you they wanted to paint it up red, white, and blue like YSN. Would you be willing to do that?
No.
Didn't think so.
No.
Didn't think so. All right.
Don't want to mess with it.
Here's Pletch chiming in early saying, have to go golfing. First need to say to Mac, ha 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 ha. I'm guessing that is to do with the Cleveland Baseball Indians, perhaps?
I'm not a Cleveland fan.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Okay.
Slam Diego lost too.
What's that?
Slam Diego lost too.
Yes, Indeed.
They're still in.
They're still in for another game. Let's get to these bracket pairings. Obviously, no D1 around here in our coverage area. Paul, let's start with D2. Where are our teams playing in Division 2 and when?
Division 2, we have Austintown Fitch. They finished in the 2 seed. They'll play on Friday the 16th and at home, of course. They're going to host all the way as long as they keep winning until the regional championship. And as long as them and Akron-Hoban win out, they'll play each other. And that'll be at Hoban. But first things first is their game will be on the 16th against the winner of Lyndhurst Brush and Twinsburg.
Okay. Any other teams that we cover in Division 2?
No.
Is that it?
Boardman.
I was going to say
Sorry,
Boardman's at
yeah.
the bottom of that bracket. No.
Yeah, Boardman's at the bottom. They will play on the 9th, which is next Friday, and they will play Cuyahoga Falls, and that'll be a home game for Boardman.
So week 7, Boardman will have a home game against Cuyahoga Falls to start up the playoffs. Quinn, how did teams vote for? Let's go to Fitch first.
Fitch pretty much straight across the board was either voted as a 1, 2, or 3.
Okay. How about Boardman? That's an interesting one.
Boardman was very sprawled out. They were anywhere from 23rd to 23rd to about somewhere in the 12 to 14 range.
Who voted Boardman the highest? Sorry, EB.
Looks like Maple Heights and Mayfield voted them the highest.
And who voted them the lowest?
All right.
Akron North, who was dead last.
All right. EB, what did you say?
Who's a 3 seed in that region?
Hudson.
Hudson?
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out if, someone didn't vote Fitch number 2, who would maybe vote him number 3, but
Akron North voted him as a 3. Firestone voted him as a 4. And the rest were 2s and 3s.
so pretty much Akron.
All right, let's head to Division 3. A few more teams in that bracket, one of them being the Hubbard Eagles. Let's talk about let's go from top to bottom.
So teams that are going to play on Friday,
Week 7.
week 7, is going to be Hubbard. They're the 9 seed. They're going to take on Alliance.
Who is winless.
Yeah. Youngstown Cheney is going to be on the road at Akron Coventry. Cheney finished a 20 seed. I feel bad for Akron Coventry.
I do too.
I don't.
Louisville finished the 12 seed. They're going to play at home against Chardon Notre Dame Cathedral Latin. Niles finished the 15 seed. They're going to host Ravenna. Youngstown East finished, they were dead last, and they're going to go on the road to Steubenville.
Oof.
And then the highest seed in Division 3 for us was Canfield. They finished the 3 seed, and they are going to play the winner of Alliance Marlington and Chagrin Falls Kenston.
That's an interesting second round matchup.
Who was the
that's for
top
sure.
2 in that region?
That was Chardon. They finished 1. And
Streetsboro.
Streetsboro finished 2. Canfield was 3.
All right.
New Philly was 4. And New Philly is a team that, Canfield's played already this year, and they potentially are going to get Cheney in the second round if Cheney takes care of business. And we saw how Canfield and Cheney battled. So
Interested to see who voted Canfield the highest and lowest. Quinn?
Lowest was Akron East, voted them as a 7 seed. Highest was New Philly. They voted them as a 1. And Steubenville voted them as a 1.
Wow.
They know firsthand.
Well, Canfield plays Steubenville, do they not?
No, they played New Philly.
No, I mean, aren't they playing? No, Fitch is playing Steubenville. That's who it is. Okay.
Bitch.
That's interesting. East voting them 7.
Disrespect.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Akron East.
Oh, Akron East.
Akron East. No, yeah.
Oh, Akron East. I was like, oh, wow. That's
some local.
Yeesh.
Youngstown East put them at 3.
Interesting. Where did Canfield put Cheney? Because they played them tough.
15. So 1, 2, 3.
All right.
13 seed.
7 spots higher than they actually finished.
I think that's a show of respect by Coach Pavlansky and Canfield. You know, they know, and he
Third
said on
highest
his
vote.
show he didn't want to face Cheney.
Third highest vote for Cheney.
That's incredible. That's well done. Well done, Coach Pav. That's and I'm sure Coach Emil is saying the same thing. I mean, this is going to be a disrespected Youngstown Cheney team that nobody on this panel thinks that is going to go easy into the night in this playoff season.
It's just not
Except-
disrespectful if you don't win games.
Except somebody.
It's just not disrespectful if you don't win games. It's the reason why you're upset about not being a higher
Okay,
team
so
to
if
win
that's
games.
the case, Billy, why is an 0-2 team
Yeah.
hosting?
Yeah.
A team that I have no idea. That's ridiculous.
You got to win games.
You got to win games. That's
I don't
ridiculous.
know.
That's some homer stuff. That's some buddy system stuff.
Yeah.
Which we said could happen.
See,
But
the
I
buddy
guess,
system
I guess to
avoidance.
be fair, though, if you looked at that bracket, that it was like there is no buys. Everybody's playing in that region.
That's even worse.
Because what we're talking about,
An 0-2 team should never be in the top side of that. Ever.
And they didn't even play games.
yeah, I mean, we're talking about St. Ignatius, and St. Ignatius got a
2
We
games.
weren't
they
trying to
got
do
a
that,
5 seed.
but apparently we are now.
They got a 5 seed and 0-2, and I mean they're playing a Solon team that is bad, and they were a 12 seed.
Solon. So wait a minute. So isn't Solon the team that Kirtland just played?
Yeah,
So we pumped it up saying that they're a Division I team, right? And now
and
now we're saying they're bad.
And they are, and that's why if you looked at and you know we talk about what should have happened this year was they should have went by like the computer rankings and stuff because it was still out there. Joe Itel still put
So
that
I
out there.
tell.
And if you looked at Joe Itel's take, for instance, we talk about Kirtland in Division 5, he had them ranked 6th because of the schedule they play was a very weak schedule. But the eye test is they've won 35 games in a row. They're back-to-back state champions. Everybody
But
says
that's-
until they
That's
lose.
3 years ago.
I know, but everybody in their mind thinks, well, until they lose, they should be the one. And obviously, you know, we haven't got the Division 5 yet. But yeah, Solon was a bad team, and they played them, and they beat them up. And, you know, it's kind of like you got to look at your competition. I mean, I don't think Solon's in the game yet. I think Solon was like 0-4, 0-5.
What is the highest Hubbard was voted, Quinn?
20. New Philly voted him 20 points, so that'd be a 7 seed.
Okay, that's not
Wow.
bad. I mean, Anthony, you feel good about that? Somebody giving you some love for a 7 seed?
And they finished 9.
I feel great about it. Yeah, finished 9th. It's not terrible.
Lowest
I feel-
they got
I honestly
was
feel good 'cause, I
Louisville
mean-
gave him a 17th seed.
If I think we can beat the Lions pretty well. They haven't won a game, and then I think there's a good chance that the next round we play Geneva, and I don't think they're that great either. So I mean, we have a chance. We can hang around.
Jamie's saying they should have been a 1 seed.
Who, Hubbard?
Hey, man.
I think they got put fair.
Homer.
Oh yeah, that's real fair.
He's a homer.
A 9 spot isn't bad in this. And a 9 spot's going to get you where you need to go. And Hubbard doesn't exactly travel lightly, so to speak. They're a good road
7.
team.
Didn't they get 7?
No,
I thought
Hubbard
it-
got a 9
9.
seed, and they're
Oh,
home.
okay. I thought you said 7. Oh, you got the highest vote was 7. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
All right.
They'll
Uh,
host the first round.
Any other well, I mean, you know what I mean. If they're a
yeah.
9 seed, there's 8 teams in front of them, so they're going to probably play on the road at some point if they go far.
Well, the next round they'll be that, unless they can get Painesville Harvey to beat Geneva.
And there you go, Paul.
Oh,
have to be a road
that suck.
That
Go
would
travel there.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to get that per diem from YSN and travel down there.
Yeah.
My goodness. All
Going to
right.
Geneva.
Let's go with what we D4, or we still want to talk about D3?
D4.
All right,
Best
D4.
seed-
Where are we going?
Well, if you want to go top seeds, your best seed is Poland at a 2, West Branch at 3, Youngstown Ursuline at 6. All those teams are going to get a bye. These games will be on Saturday. Then your games, it'll be on Saturday the 10th and week 7. Girard will be home against Peninsula Woodridge. Beaver Local will be home against Minerva.
Should have had a bye.
Salem will be at home taking on another YSN school, Struthers. East Liverpool will be at home as they take on Gates Mills Gilmore Academy.
I just want to point out, by the way, whenever I was giving you these on our group chat, you pointed out fake news, and I have yet to miss.
I said fake news because they weren't officially up on OHSAA's site yet. So,
And yet, still, you
Reliable-
wanted on a
reliable
side
sources.
conversation. You still wanted everything I knew, so you
Yeah.
could plan ahead.
yeah, if you can get it, get it.
You're like the CNN of Northeast Ohio, is what you are.
Reliable sources.
Scumbag. Let's talk about Poland getting the 2 seed. I mean, they lost their first game and have run the table since. Does anybody see Poland as someone that can't be overtaken or can be overtaken here in Division 4? Paul, you've seen them up close and personal.
I think they'll, when they get the winner of Struthers and Salem, I think they'll probably be okay there. After that, I mean, you're looking at Mogador Field is after that. I mean, they might not get a test until the semifinals, which you.
I mean, Ursuline could go there, and they
That's
voted
what I
Ursuline
mean.
pretty high.
In the semifinals, you would see them against like an Ursuline or a West Branch.
Speaking of Ursuline, Matt,
Who
do
do
you
they
think
play?
Ursuline could run the table on this bracket? I mean, talk to us about how you feel about the Irish.
I mean, I like their seed. I like their side of the bracket. I like them to get to the regional finals here.
Do you think it's going to be Do you think it's going to be an easy ride to the regional finals?
I mean, it's the playoffs, so it's hard to say super easy, but I feel very confident.
I'm with Michael Page on this. West Branch has been under the radar the entire year. The entire year. I mean, we cover them, and we still don't, in my opinion, praise them enough for what they've done. And they're doing a fantastic job out there. And I think as a 3 seed, I think they're a little bit disrespected there as well.
Come get some Youngstown.
Well, they might just do that. They might just do that, my friend. And they're doing it under a new coach. And if you go by, you subscribe to the Ron Podesta way of things with the COVID. They've got no business being around here. But yet here they are, number 3 seed in Division 4. What say you, Mac?
Our coach is a second-year coach, and he had to deal with COVID. So
He had to deal with COVID.
I don't even know if that is a legit argument.
No.
Was it?
EB, I mean, this is
Irish, baby. It's turning time.
EB, this is a very interesting bracket in D4. I mean, there's a few teams that catch your eye and a couple high seeds. When you look at this, who's the team that is under the radar you think can do the most damage?
I'm with you on it. I thought West Branch was kind of like you said, no one's really talked about them all year, but they just show up and take care of business. You know, everyone coming into the season, we kind of talked about Poland. Like for Poland, it could be state or bust, but we know they should make a long playoff run. You know, Ursuline is Ursuline; they're always going to be in the thick of things. But I think back in August, if someone would have said West Branch was going to be a 2 seed and has a good chance to kind of play the spoiler, and I don't know if you can consider a 3 seed playing a spoiler, I probably would have called you crazy. Because, I mean, even week 1, we all picked Salem to beat West Branch, or the majority of us did.
Right.
And, you know, they've just taken care of business week in, week out. You know, we haven't really talked too much about them or any of their players, so they're kind of that silent assassin.
Quinn, when we looked over the kind of how things played out with the votes earlier, we looked at Poland's and we were a little bit left scratching our heads. Talk about what you're seeing from Poland. Do you think that it was just accidental flip?
I think so. I think it was backwards, to be honest with you. I think it was completely backwards.
So where do they, for instance, where do they have West Branch? Who are the other team? I'm sorry.
Well, the number 1 seed's Northwest, and they voted them dead last. So I want to
where do they vote West Branch?
Definitely knows some of these teams, and I don't think you would put them dead last.
Oh, you put them dead last so you can get the 1 seed.
That was my initial thought as well.
that was
Vote a lot of these
the other
higher
one.
seeded
It's all
teams
reversed.
down give yourself a chance to get the 1 seed because what they were
Well,
5
yeah.
votes away from it.
The reason why you would reverse it is so you would pump yourself up, right? So it's all about the number of votes per ranking, right? So if Northwest was like maybe a couple people didn't know Canal Fulton's position and they thought they were good, and maybe a couple teams voted them down, and then Poland gets that bump up if they're in that dead last, and maybe they get the overall 1 seed.
Nah, I think that is a possibility.
So Quinn, like what DJ said, where did they vote West Branch at? What number did they give West Branch?
2.
So yeah, I think they just screwed up. I think they were voting people.
Where did they put Beaver local? They put them at 5. What did they put Beaver at?
They
5
voted
or 6?
them as 5 points, which if it's reversed would have been the 5th best team.
So they did it like basketball.
Yeah.
So instead of doing,
and I think if you go back,
I think this is the number 1 team right here, and these are number 2 and number 3, and they just submitted
ranked them in order.
Yeah. So you got to wonder, like, did the coach do that like accidental, or was it, who was there helping him out?
I mean, the weird thing is, Ursuline's a what, 6 seed?
Ursuline's a 6, but they got 20 out of Poland.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the outlying vote. They gave Ursuline a high number of votes among all those top teams that they gave low numbers, at least. Like, it would be higher in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rankings.
So Poland voted
like that was one
Ursuline
standout among the top teams.
Or amongst the highest?
Yeah.
No, they voted them 20, but
4th highest.
Yeah,
4th highest. Okay, is that the highest vote that Ursuline had?
No. Struthers gave them a 1 seed.
Wow. So the Wildcats, with a lot of respect for Coach Reardon and
and the thing is, if they would have maybe changed their votes and been the right way, Ursuline could have slipped like to an 8, and that would have been out of their bracket. With Ursuline now where they are, they're going to see them in their bracket. So if they would have, because Ursuline,
and same thing could be said about Beaver Local. If you give them a 5 as the number 5 team, 19. Yeah, but if you give Beaver the correct 19, they're sitting at a 7. They're in a different side of the bracket. They're in Poland's side as opposed to Northwest's side. So, and
where do you want
they
to
also
be,
get a bye.
Where do you want to be?
Put me anywhere on the field. Put my team anywhere on the field.
Damn politician! Stop watching the debate, Mike.
And I think, speaking of Beaver Local, I think they can make a little bit of noise. I mean, they should beat Minerva. They've played them already. East Shaw's only an 8.
Already done it.
So that's an 8-9 seed playing each other in the second round.
Is that Cleveland East Shaw?
They do have.
Yeah.
Good luck.
No, wait.
That's a drive, isn't it?
It's a
They're
drive. Probably an hour and a half. From
I went to. Well, they won't be able to play on their field. They'll have to rent out a field.
I mean, Cleveland East Shaw's the 8.
Because their field is there's no lights. It's the old Cleveland Browns, like where they played originally.
Wow.
So it's, and I will not send an announcer to there. I will not. It's just not happening. Because in year 1 of YSN, we were in it, and the stands felt like they were going to go this way.
Where was the place that there was a bird aviary next door to it? Do you remember that one?
No, I don't remember. There's too many bad places.
It was up near Cleveland somewhere. There was a bird aviary right next to the field, and I remember all you heard was the birds the whole time the game was going on.
Welcome to YSN. Ty, you've been quiet this entire time. What out of this bracket, what teams are you looking to make some noise, make some waves?
You know what? And I hate it because I know he's going to have a smug look on his face, but I think Ursuline. I really do. I think after the loss to Fitch, I think Ursuline's really turned it around. And with that being really the only notable loss, I think they played Fitch tough too. And with as good as Fitch's defense has been, the fact that they hung 28 points on them, I thought that was pretty impressive on Ursuline's side for the offensive side of the ball. And I think with it being a comeback year for Ursuline, I'm going to be paying attention to them, and I think they're going to surprise a lot of people going into this.
I would tend to agree, except for I think the Boyd injury is going to throw a wrench in the plans for the Irish.
I think he's healthy.
About teams that have been tested. I mean, with some of our guys, like Ursuline's got to be one of those ones. Poland's got to be one of those ones that have been battle tested for the playoffs. Maybe Struthers too. Have been in maybe. I mean, probably
Here's the
Marmador.
thing: is some of these teams are really banged up. Struthers is really banged up. So is Ursuline. So
Right.
you look at
But
that.
all I'm saying is when it comes to playing like a playoff football style games, those teams have played some playoff style teams.
I'm with you 100%, but that's ultimately what I'm trying to make the point of. It might have cost them because you look at Dean Boyd being out for Ursuline, that takes you down to one, maybe two primary receivers for Brady Shannon, to where he could sling it all over the yard usually. And if you have Aiden Hall out for Struthers, we all saw what could happen potentially against South Range last Friday night. So it's all interesting. I'm really interested to see how these teams can bounce back because, I mean, we say it all the time, next man up. Can Ursuline do next man up? Can Struthers do next man up? Poland, knock on wood, sounds like they're pretty healthy going into the playoffs, and they get a bye as well. So, waiting them is going to be two teams beating up on each other, a Salem team or a Struthers team. So what are we going to see? It's weird because these guys shouldn't be beat up because we haven't had as many weeks, right? But they are. Injuries are going to happen because they haven't had practice. They haven't had the proper, training, so to speak. And we talked about this on our coaches' corners all over YSN. So I'm excited to see playoff football, but this is not the kind that we're used to. I mean, it's only going to be like 50, 60 degrees next week. We're used to being bundled up this time of year for playoff football. So D5, is there anybody out there that's really interested? Obviously, Paul, you have some interest in this bracket. Talk to us about D5.
Yeah, we got 3 more divisions left, 5, 6, and 7. So
correct.
So in D5, your best seed is South Range at a 2, Crestview's at a 6. So they'll get a bye all the way till week 8, which is the 17th. These are Saturday games now. Jefferson is on the road at Martins Ferry. Champion will be home against Mantua Crestwood.
Man away.
Thank you, Billy.
Whatever. Liberty
Mantua.
Mantua.
That sounds like the girlfriend, the internet girlfriend, Manteo from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I was ready to sing some You're Welcome.
Yeah. Liberty is on the road at Warrensville Heights. Cardinal Mooney will be hosting. They'll host Conneaut.
What was that, Ty?
Why is Cardinal Mooney?
How are they hosting?
Why is Cardinal Mooney hosting?
Let's go to the guy who's going to tell us why they're hosting. Quinn.
The top 6 teams got a bye.
Oh,
go away.
You had to keep that there in case Ursuline ever lost to Mooney.
That's a prop that Jamie Thompson even got jealous of.
Okay.
So your top 6 teams got a bye, and then they're a 14 versus a 19, so they got a home game.
So, Quinn, how did things go for Mooney with voting?
A couple teams voted him as high as a 4 seed.
4?
Wow.
Well, gave him 22 points. Jefferson gave him 22.
For what reason? Other
Wood
than
gave him
what, the
21,
player that they played?
21, Garfield 21, Kirtland gave him 21 points. Southeast gave him 21 points.
That's just off their name.
That's
God.
it. This is why coaching and voting is stupid.
But we talked about this. I mean, they're going. You have
And 3
they're
teams
going off
gave
their
him
name.
5 points.
Do you think Ursuline didn't benefit from that? I'm not just pointing it out. I mean, Ursuline benefited from the name of Ursuline, Youngstown Ursuline, the state championships, all of those awesome banners they have in that gymnasium. They benefited from it.
Sure.
Right? Am I wrong?
And if you look at Joe Itel computer point rankings, they're a 22 seed. Cardinal Mooney would be a
Couple teams
22
voted him
seed.
that low, Paul.
But I think a couple teams really looked into. I mean,
About that
you
name.
can probably look at this, and a few teams probably said, We're just going to go with Joe Itel, what he said, whatever he said.
So Crest
If I don't know who the team is, I've never seen them play, I would go right to Joe Itel and be like, that's my pick.
Cardinal Mooney was 1-4, and their only win was a 7-0 win over East.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Cheney,
garbage.
Boardman. I mean, I understand like they played the Cheney, the Boardman.
Let's be a little bit respectful. I mean, it's not like they're not on the wall over there.
I know, but we can say our teams might be garbage if they're.
I mean,
can we?
The thing, the truth's the truth. I mean,
okay.
you got beat 30-0
Okay.
against Cheney.
I guess Paul can sell sponsorships then.
All I'm saying is I just don't think that Mooney should be hosting a game. That's all I'm saying.
But do you feel why are we saying that 0-2 Cleveland and St. Ignatius can do this?
Then,
But
if they don't get to host the game, who does over them?
Yeah, exactly.
Ravenna? I mean, they're hosting the game over a Buckeye local, Rayland, Wellsville.
I am 100% with Kyle
game. So, like, Liberty? Does Liberty get a host? No. Orville, Grand Valley? Do they get? No. So, Rootstown? No. So, like, by default, they do get a home game.
That is a great analysis, Billy Mack. That is a great analysis.
Yeah,
and the bad thing is, we talked about
great.
the Ignatius thing, and Joe Itel, they're dead last.
They should be.
They won one game, and it didn't even count for the OHSA rankings. They beat a Bishop Sycamore team. So they lost. They're 0-2. Dead last. No points. They have no current points.
This is why computer points are everything in football. Everything. Because
they messed up this year. This is the year they messed up.
Yeah, because this is the OHSA doing this, and there's nobody here that doesn't believe that. Right? This is the OHSA saying, we don't want anything to do with it. You're not going to point the finger at us this year. We've had the finger pointed at us enough already. Bullcrap.
OHSA is sitting like this right now.
But they're saying, yeah. Whoa, Mikey. I need you to get closer to the camera, please.
Not in that type of way. Just saying. They're
Must
just
be because they play teams in higher divisions. That could be it. It very well could be it. But I also don't think that that's it. I think they're getting by on what they've done in the past 25 years.
Yeah,
they have played up.
I look at two things. Like, if you look at the teams who voted them up higher, would be naturally be teams who aren't from the Youngstown area who know. So they're probably just basing it off of, like you said, the name. Also, part of me wants to say some of these coaches didn't understand the voting. Like I'm hearing 20 points, 22 points, this and that, and that kind of goes in line with where they're at. So part of me wants to say, there was some miscommunication on how this voting was supposed to really go.
Well, let's just be honest, EB. These coaches have enough to deal with, and we just added to their plate by saying, hey, by the way, you're going to vote on everybody else just because we got better things to do. Like that shouldn't be a coach's responsibility. I'm sorry, in football. It just shouldn't be. That's not the way they've done things. There's a way to do things with computer points. I think that computer points should be across every sport that happens. Will it be a little bit of a lift? Yes. But computers are not capable of lying. If you watch Terminator, they're not capable of BSing you. It's, did you do this? It's a formula. Everything's a formula.
Yeah.
Win big games.
When you look at Division 5, when you look at Division 5, your top 6 teams that got a bye, your top 6 teams and your top 6 teams in Joe Itel are exactly the same. They're just in different orders because they had Garfield 1, South Range 2, Bel Air, Crestview was a 4 seed, Sugar Creek, Garaway, and then Kirtland was a 6 seed. And then all you did was flip it a little bit. Kirtland was 1, South Range 2. I think Garrettsville went to a 3. But Bel Air, Garaway, they all were right there. So they sort of had it right. But again, like you were saying, DJ, you're going off a name. And like I was talking about earlier, kind of defending it, but not really. Kirtland's 35 in a row, 2 state championships in a row. And everybody looks at them and says, well, that's a name. Until somebody beats them, they should be 1.
Only one pretty good this year, too. Kirtland has a 2 seed.
I don't like that at all.
Everybody
Hey,
else
what
would
have you
want.
done for me lately? That's what I. That's what
I
I.
mean, Kirkland's pretty good this year too. So
But these coaches, they watch them in the playoffs, right? Because when their team, let's say, are eliminated from the playoffs, they go to these state games and they watch. They don't have time to watch tape on Kirtland or South Range or Crestview and say and accurately analyze, hey, this is where they should be. They're 0-5, but they've played. They're Division 5 team playing Division 1 teams. How do you do that? That's why why we love it that Cheney's going to be so dangerous, is because everybody goes, oh, okay, you're number 20. Enjoy. And then what's going to happen? What do we all think is going to happen?
they're going to lose first game.
Well, everybody but Matt.
No.
Yeah. And
They got a
you
chance.
take a look at, like you say, like Kirtland's thing. They played a Division 1 Solon team, 0-2, a Division 5 Grand Valley team, 0-5, a Division 6 team in Cardinal was 1-4, a Division 1 team in Shaker Heights who was 1-3, and then the only team that has a winning record was Lake Catholic, which is a Division 4 team, and they smashed them. So they don't play anybody. I can see why Joe Itel has them so low, but that's the bad thing is, like you said, you're going to see these teams that are just going to go off of their name.
But I think Kirkland's played that schedule for like years. So, and like it's always been the same story with them. Like they smash all these teams because their schedule's not very good, and then they don't care if they get into the playoffs at a 4 seed or a 5 seed because they end up just steamrolling people. And
and that's the Ursuline Mooney playbook as well.
Right.
All year, play big.
Yeah, I mean, they wrote that story back in the 90s. Kirkland just figured it out in the past 15 years.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, you look at the NE8, things aren't a whole lot different from South Range either. You get into that NE8, and almost everybody's bigger than you, correct?
Dude, and South Range has like a cakewalk.
There's only really two things I like about this bracket. One, I'm interested to see Garrettsville, South Range, if they could both make it that far. And then Kirkland probably wins this region.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have Division 6, 7, and analysis to follow all of this. Don't go away. We'll get to the smaller schools here in just a bit on the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by these great sponsors.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
And welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. Want to thank our first off, all our sponsors, and thank for everybody for voting for the Ysn and Baird Brothers Big Dogs of the Valley Week 3. Voting is open until Monday at midnight, so make sure you get out and vote for your favorite player. And again, thank you to, to Baird Brothers. I'm sorry. Thank you to Baird Brothers for all of that. We are getting into Division 6 and 7. If you're just joining us, the playoff brackets for high school football released, and we are going over the analysis of all that. We keep losing McNuggies. I think he's down in the Mackenzie cave. Keeps losing the internet down there.
He's done. He already heard about Beaver Local. He's going to go.
He heard about
scout.
Beaver Local. He's toast. See you later. Paul, D6, lay it out for us.
D6, the top seeded team is Springfield, got the 1 seed. These are all Saturday games. So them and United both got a bye. They won't play till the 17th. United was a 6 seed.
Wow.
Playing on the 10th will be Western Reserve against Columbiana. Western Reserve will be the host in that game. Then you have Camel will be on the road against Jeromesville Hillsdale. LeBray will be at home as they take on Middlefield Cardinal. And you have Middle Ridge will be hosting Wellington.
Out of all those matchups, Paulie, which one do you have circled as the matchup to watch?
I mean, I guess just to keep it, low. Oh, I'm sorry, Newton Falls is in there too. Newton Falls will be traveling to St. Thomas Aquinas.
As a bye for St. Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, the way things unfortunately have been going out there, maybe, I mean, they might, with COVID stuff, they might not be playing. I don't know.
Damn, Mac.
Get out of here.
I don't know. I mean, I guess the local game with Western Reserve. I mean, because those first 2 rounds are, 2 local schools are battling each other. So, I mean,
here's your prize. You win your first round playoff game. Here's Springfield.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I mean, and that's.
Is that the only 2 YSN matchups
like
in this bracket, back to back?
In this bracket, yes. We have one in D7 as well. So.
Right. But I just meant in this one.
Yeah, in this one here, that would be it. Because even, I mean, until you get like to the regional semifinals and regional quarters, you can have some. Middle Ridge can see United. But I mean, Camel has a long road to hoe, and so does LeBray.
So here's a question for you, Paul. Springfield's the number 1 seed, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did anybody vote them other than number 1? I guess we'll ask Quinn. Sorry.
Yeah, Quinn's got that.
Yeah, please tell me, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was my bad.
Unbelievable. It's like Coach Pav yesterday. Coach Pav called me you. It's unreal. Yeah, there's a lot more voted them not a 1 than a 1.
Really?
Yeah, they went down as far as 4 seed.
Who voted them as a 4 seed? That's the lowest they got?
Yeah, that's the lowest they got.
Life.
East Canton voted them as a 4, and Cardinal voted them as a 4.
Man, I hope Coach Guerrero and the Tigers
Newton
see
Falls
that.
put them as a 3. Oberlin as a 3. Rittman put them down there as well. I mean, the rest were 2s and 1s.
And if you look, we keep going back to Joe Itel, but if you look at Joe Itel, he had him as a 2. And the top seeded team he had was Whitcliffe with 25 points. Springfield was all the way down with 19 points. So,
well, I mean, again, it has its advantages and not. Springfield was mowing over teams that were significantly smaller. A lot of D7s down in the MVAC.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing lesser competition, and I don't know. I mean, how does that?
Yeah, you might want to be one of those teams that you have to see Springfield if you don't know, because they're good, and we all know that.
Yeah,
I feel like we're talking. We keep talking out of both sides of our mouth here. It's very interesting to see. I mean, we all know that we want to see Springfield succeed. You know what I mean? Division 6 it's a tough division because a lot of these teams are fringe teams in Division 6 that probably are a kid or 2 away from Division 7. I know that's the way it was in Palestine. So it's going to be interesting. Who was the least seeded team, like the lowest seeded team in D6?
Oberlin,
yeah, at 26.
Oberlin was close though with Rittman. They were 3 points off. So.
And who do they play?
Oberlin gets Brookfield.
So you look at that, potentially East Palestine saved themselves from facing Brookfield in or a team like Brookfield.
No, that would have messed up the whole thing. It would have been different buys and stuff, I think.
Still, you see where I'm trying to get at, Dr. Pushkar.
Just saying.
Yeah, thanks.
Who knows? Maybe Palestine could have been a 25 in that case. You never know. Maybe. I'm
You want to
hopeful.
explain that one?
Who knows? Could have been voting.
Look at all of a sudden he becomes like Mr. Optimist.
Yeah, Oberlin.
You
want me to be honest?
told him the other day, hey, get a little bit more chippy.
Seriously, you
Chirpy
told me to be
talk.
happy and more
I did.
positive.
I'm
He's
sorry.
trying to do his best.
I'm sorry, Quinn. I should be more, I'll go back and tally all the times you picked East Palestine this year.
Well, then you might as well pick everyone else here because I'm pretty sure it's.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that only picked East
Well,
Palestine?
you're the
You and Jeff were the only two that ever
There
took
would have
that.
been an extra.
Paul
bye.
marked me down for tomorrow, too. Not taking Palestine.
Same.
Scumbag's back. All right. Talk about the voting process for this. We talked about Springfield. Paul, who else interests you from a voting standpoint?
United.
You'd like to see where United. Let's talk about United.
I'm not Paul. God, keep calling me Paul.
I was talking to Paul. Am I not allowed to talk to Paul?
You're talking about voting. Paul doesn't have voting. Paul has the brackets.
So it looks like United will probably match up. I'm going to assume Canton Central wins their game. That would be a good game.
Yeah. You can see.
Actually, that's who voted United the lowest, too.
Really?
Ooh.
Well, but if you look at it, like anyone that's
scared.
in this area the lowest, they've all been on the other side of Canton or Akron. So it's teams who
It
really
wasn't close to being like in that area. They voted him as a 20 seed.
Well, yeah, that's just because it's all those teams over there who think nothing of teams this way.
Look at the misery that like Quinn loves talking about other people's misery. Look at the smile on his face right now. Incredible. Like he is just as happy as anybody. You are the Grinch. Officially, you are.
You voted as a 20. That gives you momentum.
Actually, you can be
a
the
reason to
Quinch.
play.
The Quinch. He's the Quinch.
Oh, Betos is going to love that.
That's the number one thing that I would have on any whiteboard in United right now.
What?
Is Canton Central voting us as a 7 points.
Trust me, he doesn't need it. Coach Ogilvy's got enough stuff on his grease board to write home about. He's very motivated individual, to say the least, and I'm sure his son isn't an apple that falls far from the tree. Division 7, let's get to it. We've got a few minutes to talk about it. This is a very, very interesting bracket with some
D7. It's Friday games. Your number one seed, the Eagles of JFK. They are number one. And
Say that one more time. You broke up.
JFK's number one.
JFK. Okay.
These games will be played on the 16th. These are the bye teams. Latonia is your 3 seed. McDonald and Jackson Milton are going to play each other, but they're going to play each other. They actually both got a bye, and so they will play each other, but it won't be till the 16th. Then you have Lowville and Valley Christian taking on each other. Winner gets JFK. So there's another 2 rounds of local schools. Then you have Lisbon will be on the road. They go to Plymouth. And then you have Wellsville will be hosting New Washington Buckeye Central.
Okay.
So you have
How many YSN teams in there?
3,
Much.
8.
Got a
8
handful.
YSN teams in there. All right, Anthony, out of any of those teams, who are you looking to wreck somebody's night? D7.
I mean, I'm gonna go with McDonald here. I don't know. They seem. I don't know. I don't know why. They're just the first team I think
You're
of.
not wrong. You're not. I think there's more than one person here.
I was actually I was looking at the D3 bracket. And I was just waiting for this talk to be done because I found something interesting in that bracket. But I'd have to go with McDonald.
All right, I'm with you on that. Anybody see any teams that are going to be very interesting in this bracket? Ty, you got anybody stands out to you?
I mean, it was the same thing as Anthony. I think McDonald. Honestly, that was what I thought going into it as well. I think McDonald's going to be a tough one.
Southern's in this bracket. Southern is in the bracket, okay?
This is probably the most disrespected I've seen Southern in a long time.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Southern's there too, so we have 9. Oh, that was my bad. Yeah, they are actually on the road.
You didn't even say their name.
Well, they're technically not officially a YSN team, so.
I mean, Southern too. The fact that Southern's on the road after beating United too, I don't know, that seems kind of disrespectful.
Anthony's saying important to note that in basketball and baseball, they vote on districts which are much smaller than football's regions. So I don't want people saying, well, basketball and baseball coaches have time, so football should. I get it. True. Again, I mean,
I agree with that.
I know Jackson Milton just got it handed to him, and they had a rough one. But I think if they might put it together, they could ruin McDonald's night. I mean, those are two schools.
They got to play Springfield this week, so.
And that's it. They go through a buzzsaw in Springfield, and then they have to go back and play.
Well, they get a week off.
Well, yeah, but still, like 4-2. Let's say that Springfield wins that game. I'm not going to give away my pick yet, but let's say Springfield just by happenstance wins that football game. They go in 4-2. Their first draw is McDonald. Like, that's a bad draw. You got to admit that's a bad draw for Jackson Milton.
But like I said, it's a very familiar.
Think about that. They got 1 loss, and they got 11 seed as a 1 loss.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But do you think that any of those coaches voted assuming they would go 4-2 with Springfield coming up this week? I know they shouldn't, but do you think they did?
I think we've already shown that they're voting based on what they've done in the last 3 to 5 years.
That's right.
I mean, are they better than Independence?
Like McDonald's a good team perennial powerhouse. McDonald, right? The only problem is what Springfield's in their in their same conference. That's the problem with McDonald. You draw McDonald in this, and you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Believe 3-3.
And that's another reason why I had such a problem with the playoffs coming out now and like week 6 not even
McDonald's
mattering now. Because say like Springfield does get upset. What if Jackson Milton does upset Springfield? Then Jackson Milton would jump a bunch of spots had it come out a week later. So I don't understand. I understand that there's a short time frame that they have to work with here, but why even play a game week 6 if week 6 virtually doesn't matter right now?
Oh, I get that too. But let me ask you this: if Jackson Milton does what we all I guess all but one expected them to do last week, that's me, is beat Mineral Ridge. I think they're probably in the same spot. I really do. I don't think that game mattered at all. I really don't.
I mean, what's funny is
a little bit.
Is if you look at Joe Itel, he's got Jackson Milton at 11, and he's got McDonald at a 6. I mean, they're spot on. I mean, he's got all the the only thing he had Latonia at a 2 instead of
3.
Lucas. Lucas,
based on voting, the only thing they could have done was probably jump up 1 spot.
But that's one spot that they don't have to do to. And you're talking about who? Latonia?
No, Jackson Milton. They could have jumped up to a 10.
So then they don't start with McDonald. They start with somebody else.
Yeah,
I'm happy because, listen, from a business owner's perspective, I only got to pay 1 fee. But at the end of the day, I don't like that Jackson Milton is getting a little bit of the raw deal here. And McDonald is a powerhouse. And I'm not going to sit here and say that they can't be beaten because they can. But I think that I went the other day as far as saying McDonald is going to get the lumps from this seeding. I thought McDonald was going to be disrespected. And they actually, I think it's the other way around right now. I think Jackson Milton got the raw deal.
McDonald is 1 vote away from being a 5.
Well, they probably didn't value their wins as much either to other teams too. So,
this whole bracket pretty much fell in line to a T with the way Joe Itel had them all ranked. I mean, with the exception of like 1 spot, nothing was really huge. But if you look at McDonald, they win their game, they're going to go to Latonia. They're going to play at Latonia.
Good luck, Latonia. I mean, because we've got some inside information on the Bears, and
there was a lot of close point totals in this too. Like 1 vote away from being a different seed in a lot of these.
Did anybody doubt JFK though? I mean, I didn't.
A couple teams.
No.
And that's crazy if they did.
I want to know who doubted JFK.
Independence put them as a 3 seed.
Line 'em
South
up.
Again, teams from
Central,
not around this
Plymouth,
area.
and Buckeye Central. I'll put them as 2 seed.
I don't know. Like
But, yeah, like Eric said, it's just not our area.
no. Then they're just putting numbers down because
Right.
familiarity. That's what it all comes down to.
I mean, and this was, like I said, this was the closest bracket to the computer rankings, which was impressive. That, like, either these coaches paid some attention or like just luck of the draw where they put people. But I mean, they're almost
pay
spot
attention.
on to where they
I
go.
think
I think they
I
pay
believe that Paul Julia said on post show that he was going to use Joe Whitell, and that more people should. But I could be off. He's had a lot of coaches on lately. Anthony, you said you had some interesting stuff going on in D3, and what is that noise,
Yeah.
by the way? Yep, it's Mac.
So
Nah.
I was looking at Canfield's side of the bracket. So they play the winner of Marlington and Kenston. Let's say they win. And then under them, the matchup would be St. V's against whoever. St. V's ended Canfield's season 3 years ago in the regional final. That Canfield team was really good. And St. V's beat them 13-10. So that'll just be an interesting matchup. Hopefully Canfield will have a chance to get their revenge on. And let's just say
St.
Hubbard runs the
V's
table.
plays-
I would not want to play St. V's because they are Hubbard's kryptonite. They've always been.
St. V's plays Akron Springfield. Ty, you're familiar with them, aren't you?
Yeah.
Nope, he's not.
Yeah.
We're going to go on to our G. Burbank Farms. What's your beef? Guys, we'll start out with McNuggies. Hopefully you got some beef today. Young man.
I do. My beef is going to be with the Tennessee Titans today. I know we've been talking about high school football, but their positive COVID tests have pushed the game back to a later week, and now it looks like the Steelers' bye week is going to be week 4. Just that was kind of deflating, but the brackets came out. I'm in a great mood now, so let's get some football rolling.
EB, what do you got?
I don't know, man. It's been a crazy busy week. My beef mostly this week is pet insurance. Like you can look into this. My dog honestly is not doing very well right now, and I was looking into pet insurance and whatnot, and I probably should have done this, but for animals that tend to become like our family, why can't they have insurance? Where if I'm going to pay monthly, instead of pretty much funding this office or this vet office who's done a great job. Bark Mobile and Latonia has done a great job, but pet insurance would be huge if it was something like insurance that I paid for myself.
Respect. Mac, what do you got? You're muted.
There it is.
No beef. Just congratulate my brother getting married tomorrow. I won't be on the show, and hopefully YSN has a good weekend.
Congratulations, Mac. Congratulations to your brother, and sorry, Kate, about your son.
I have more.
She's got more. She just keeps printing them out. Muncie, what's your beef?
Billy, send me your picks. I'll get them in. My beef today was with the organization that we've all had beef with for a very long time, and it was OHSAA. I mean, their site was just straight trash today. And, the steal from Billy, it stinks. They were just – they knew around 1 o'clock that, like, everybody and their brother was going to get on their site and try to get these brackets. And, it takes us until 2:45 almost to get these brackets to pop up. I mean, it was just terrible and poor planning on them. I mean, I know somebody in our thread said they should have sent it out in tiers, and they should have. They should have sent, like, just started staggering them out. But it was just – it irritated me because I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, everybody wants to see these things, and you've hyped it up. And then you just like, oh, crashes, sorry.
I don't know what it's like to crash a website, so I'm just going to leave that one alone. Anthony Romo, your beef, please.
I've really been thinking this one out. I can't really think of anything. I guess my beef is with the luck of the health of the players of the Miami Heat because they had a good chunk of guys get hurt last night, and the series. I mean, I want the Lakers to win. You heard me. I came in on the Power Hour when you guys were bashing Quinn for no reason, but
no reason.
The series just if these players can't get healthy, the series just won't be that exciting. Just like the bubble's been. The bubble hasn't been very exciting.
I hate to tell you, but nobody's watching NBA. Period.
I didn't watch it last night. I watched the Indians.
Better than watching that
Or like
garbage
5
with a
leads.
stick.
You know the Indians play the garbage with a stick, Quinn.
And you realize I didn't watch it.
Nobody cares. Ty, go ahead.
Yeah, that's my beef. Is Cleveland sports teams in general. You know, it's the best analogy I could think of for a Cleveland sports team. It's like it's a bad relationship. You know, it's like being in a relationship where they're just constantly cheating on you, and you can't leave because I don't know. There's just something in you that tells you shouldn't. They put a ring on it in 2016 and then found a way to cheat on you 3 months later by losing the World Series, and it's just like, oh my God, it's so terrible being a Cleveland fan. And that's why, you know what, that's why us the guys and you know everyone in Northeast Ohio, if you're a Cleveland fan, that's why you don't get emotional with like the heartbreaks and everything with relationships, because you've been used to having your heart broken since you were a child from these Cleveland teams for years. So that's why we're tough as nails and we have hearts of steel.
Yeah, that's why you have no kidneys. So, Quinn, go ahead.
It was a perfect segue to me. Mine is with the fine people of East Palestine. I think they just know that we're on the show at 3 o'clock because they always walk in front of the window then, and they know that I'm going to get distracted and stare at them. So don't walk in front of the window from 3 to 4, please. Thank you.
I'm gonna walk in front of the window just for you.
Now you're going to get people walking in front of there. They're going to be flashing you. They're going to be all kind of crazy shit now.
Get Kate to hold up the Cardinal Mooney sign.
Yes, please, because that's what we need. More Catholics watching this right now and saying, what the hell are we watching? My beef is it's kind of with myself because I didn't know that the Yankees won until this morning. Fell asleep. I was out cold, and obviously with Thursday, Friday, and Saturday coming up, those are big days here at YSN, so I tried to get a little shut-eye when I could. So my beef's with myself. I'm sorry, self, for not watching the Indians, but that game just kept going. 2 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, and then you wake up and I don't even know what happened. But I know the Yankees won because Jeff Bezos told us all about it in the group chat. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go Yankees.
It was a shining moment in.
They're
Jeff
winning the
Bezos'
World
life.
Series this year, guys. I'm telling you.
No, they then Ty might need a therapist. I'm with that. Ty, you all right?
No, you know, that's going to take me sulking for about another week before we're back on schedule and saying back to next year. That's the definition of insanity, right?
If I may, just for a second, Cleveland fans are very much some of the worst, because all I had to hear about was somebody calling their shot in winning the World Series literally a week ago today. And then today, it's Monday morning quarterback.
I was trying to point to like DJ, like you're right in between.
It's Monday morning quarterback. All I heard was how Sandy Alomar is a terrible manager and how he should never manage another game, and yet he made a great decision in a pinch hit situation. You know, a lot of postseason stuff is managing with your gut and going that route, dude.
I think Sandy did a great job. I just think players aren't clutch. I mean, happens.
Listen, the guy.
Brad Hand never shows up when it's on the national stage.
But here, all we heard about for the last 2 weeks was Shane Bieber. He's gonna eat your lunch. Shane Bieber. We got Brad Hand. He's 15 for 15. We got this guy. We got that guy. You know who showed up? Number 31, whoever the hell he is. Like that guy. He showed up and lit the world on fire. He gets pinch hit. No, for the Indians, it's
Luplo.
No, Luplo pinch hit for this
Naylor.
guy.
Naylor.
Naylor. Yeah.
Oh, Naylor.
So you got this guy that Indians fans had to check their programs and be like, who the hell is this guy? Like,
Yeah, he was a trade with Clevenger.
Yeah, so they got no idea. This guy steps in, and all of a sudden he's sitting at the main table with the good Lord himself on the Last Supper. I'm tired of that's my thing is nobody's ever good enough. And then on the reverse side, Ty, this is not pointed at you, but yeah, you fall into the category. Nobody's ever as bad. Like, listen, yes, you're allowed to take second place trophies. You guys do that a lot. Take the second place trophy. The world's not going to end when your team loses. It's not. It's okay. On the same token, please, ESPN, stop showing the freaking Cavs winning the championship. Nobody cares about it anymore. I'm done with it. Done. They don't show the Bulls championships. They don't show anybody else's championships. You don't show Kobe's. You just show LeBron. It's over. It's done. Let it go. You want another championship team? Go get it.
DJ, do you need a Sesame Burger? I got you, bud.
Let's go.
5 o'clock. I'll meet you there.
I might be there. All right, that's going to wrap up the show tomorrow. You know what it is. It's a Friday edition of the Power Hour minus Billy Mack. So we will see you guys. It is Pick'em Friday. So we will see you tomorrow, 3 to 4:15 right here on YSN. So long, everybody.